'Cause every time you tell me I'm good and that I'm doing fine, but nothing ever changes. And now I see, baby, you are hurting me. Stuck in repeat. Stop lying. I know you're playing your part, but
Happy
baby,
May, you guys, and welcome to my monthly reset routine. I'm Dr. Tiffany Shelton Merrill. If you're new here, I make content all about intentionally helping you get more done so you can actually enjoy your dream life. And in this monthly reset video, I'm going to share with you my reset routine that I usually do for the month, what I actually got done this month, my plan for the month of May, my intentions, my reflections. We're going to dig in all of it. I use those strategies of the book, The 12-Week Year, so you're invited to plan along with me to help you reach your goals as well. I will be using the Mod Ambition Planner. This is my planner. You can use any planner that you like to join me, and let's jump right in. So for my routine this month, I did a lot of stuff just to get me back on track. I had a lot of events in the month of April, which I'll share a little bit about, that threw me off of my routine. Some things were more exciting and fun things than others that threw me off, but really my reset routine was just about helping me get back on track. So of course I do things like change the flowers. I do that every week actually. I reset my upstairs of my house, my children's, and our bedroom. I also did a little bit of resetting for the month. We started a tomato seed, little seedling. We're going to start planting them outside. So we started the seeds for those. So that's something we started this month as well as I had to do some catch up on my budget. So I like to check in with that at the end of the month. If there's any times that I maybe skipped my budgeting Friday routine, at the end of the month is my chance to catch up. It's also my time to bulk content on my short form channels as well. So that's part of what I was able to get done for this monthly reset. Let me know some of the things you do each month to kind of reset, and refresh for the month. Okay, so let's jump into our plan for the month of May. So as we're moving into this month, one of the things that I'm thinking about is where am I at in the point of my 12-week year. So I started my brand new 12-week year in the month of April. So May is actually month 2 in my 90-day plan. So I am kind of thinking about picking up into a little bit more of high gear. We only have 2 more months left in this 12-week year, and I want to make sure that I'm not wasting time and really solidifying, getting on track with the intentions that I set for this quarter. So I'm going to turn to month 2. Before I move into setting intentions and goals for the next month, I always like to reflect on the previous month so I can double down on what's working and also take some lessons from anything that didn't work, use some radical acceptance, and also lean into, okay, what are the things, what were the challenges, what got in my way, and what can I do maybe to help myself in the future. So let's dive into last month's. Definitely last month's one was my son's birthday. He did so incredible because to me, he's still my little baby, but he turned 3, and it was great because for his birthday, my family came in town. So my mom, my dad, my brother, my aunt, my cousin, and her husband and baby. So it was really just a family affair. We got to celebrate my son. I had all his birthday stuff at his kids' party, and then my parents were here. My whole family was here that entire weekend. So that was definitely a win. Lots of good memories. Also, another one was increasing my revenue last month. I did tap into some things that I have been meaning to do for my business that I never got around to doing, and I was able to do some of those things like add my planner on TikTok Shop. I also was increasing my revenue on my website through SEO, things like that. So that's something was definitely when figuring out how to capitalize on what's working for me and things that I haven't tried in the past to kind of add into just ways to get people to see what it is I have to offer. So that's been exciting. And I was also very productive in the month of April. So in the month of April, I was a part of this accountability group, which I really think helped push me. I set some new goals for myself that I wouldn't have usually set probably out of this group. And I was just very committed in using a lot of the strategies that I know about consistency. I challenged myself to, post 6 videos instead of 4. I was able to do that in the month of April, to show up on live and to stay consistent through the midst of lots of ups and downs, like snow days and getting sick, my husband out of town. So those are all things that I feel proud of myself for being productive and meeting my goals despite a lot of challenges. And speaking of challenges, let's move into that. First, tell me, what were your wins for this previous month? What were your wins for the month? Give yourself a little pat on the back. Okay, so also it's important, like I said, to mention some of those challenges and just to reflect on some of those things. So for me, one of my challenges for the month of April was definitely parenting, toddler life. Somebody help me. Mainly my son, who turned 3. He is just now diving into like the terrible 2s, if you will, even though he's turning 3. I think they call them like 3-nagers. And it's definitely becoming a lot of our interactions are becoming a lot of, no, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do, and I want to work on that actually in the month of May, but I felt like a lot of challenges just putting up with, him asserting his normal, developmentally appropriate, independence at this age, which is totally normal, but it's also trying because I have to keep him safe and keep us on a schedule and all of this sort of thing. So it's been like butting heads, even with my daughter too, who's also a toddler. She's 4. So yeah, parenting, I just realized a lot in April. I just really struggled with the right amount of discipline, the right amount of, keeping them active versus letting them figure things out. So yeah, I would say that was definitely a challenge for April. And then also a big challenge for April for me is I had some really triggering client stories. So I'm a neuropsychologist, so that means I do testing. I test people for a plethora of diagnoses that they may get referred to me for testing for. So people for ADHD, dementia, anxiety, depression, OCD, whatever it is they're trying to figure out so they can know how to get better treatment, get better help. And with that, I have to get each client's story, their history. I run a lot of tests, but I also learn a lot about their background to help me make the diagnosis. And some of the stories that I hear, because I do work at a organization that serves an underserved population. Some of the stories that I hear, and even obviously in populations that are not underserved, everyone has a difficult story. The point is, some of them are really triggering, especially when there are children involved or people telling me about past childhood trauma. So I had some days that I think I experienced vicarious trauma, which does cause me to slow down a little bit. I'm proud of myself for honoring that and taking care of myself in those moments, but I do also recognize the challenge that comes with my occupation of being a neuropsychologist. Even though it's really rewarding and I get to help people, there's also those days that it's really difficult and triggers my own mental health issues, if I'm honest. Some of you know I struggle with OCD. So I have to take time to take care of myself during those moments and really think about scheduling more time, more buffers. And I've talked about this a lot into my schedule to account for those times because it happens almost periodically. I can forecast that. But yeah, definitely a challenge for me this month. What were your challenges last month? So before we think about our intentions and some of the other things based on those wins and challenges for last month, I like to go back to my quarterly plan, look at my quarterly plan, look at my yearly goals so I can keep in mind what I'm moving towards as I'm setting these monthly goals. What are my 12-week year goals that I'm actually moving closer to? So let's start with my yearly goals. I put them kind of vaguely because it's important to keep some privacy when you're doing goal setting, just for mindset things. But just so you have an idea of what I'm working towards, my first yearly goal is total wellness. So taking care of myself, mind, body, and spirit. In a better way. My second goal is to enjoy and to nurture my family. And then my third yearly goal, or my macro goal, moon goal, they're called in the My Ambition Planner, is to expand my business. Let's move into my quarterly goals based on that. The first quarterly goal is financial wellness. And I said by Q3, I will be operating from a clear picture of my finances and increasing my revenue. YouTube, this is also going under the moon goal of expanding my business. By Q3, I will reach 6,400 subscribers, or a certain average views per month. And then under body wellness quarterly goal, I have by Q3, I will improve my gut health, which is going to be evidenced by either no bloating days or no GI issues. So those are my 3 goals. What are your larger than life moon goals? And also, what are those quarter goals that your month is moving you towards? With that in mind, let's take a look at what I planned to help me get closer to those 12-week year goals. So this month's intention for me is to make things simple and fun. I did watch a video, Ashlyn Wright, who mentioned rebranding her business. She was talking about the journey, and she talked about wanting to move forward and lean into how can I make this simple and how can I make this fun. I have been using that as a mantra in the last couple of weeks, and it has been so helpful for me. It helps me not to get in my little neurodivergent ways of being a perfectionist or procrastinating because I'm making things too difficult. It's like, how can I make filming this video simple and fun? How can I make this report simple? Like, how can I not go overboard in a way that usually wastes me so much time and energy, and just do things in a way that are good enough? And I mean that in the best sense. Like, that's my intention this month. I'm going to move forward with that mantra. It's been placed on my heart. Make things simple and fun. What's your intention for the month? So along those lines, let's also think about how we want to feel this month. And then thinking about how you want to feel is going to also help you attract that more readily because you have it top of mind. So I also think it's important to think about how do you want to feel this month. So I put down that I want to feel momentum, I want to feel joy, and I want to feel connection this month. Those are things that I really want to lean into in the month of May. Momentum in the sense of feeling myself actually make progress and chip away at those goals that I have for this 12-week year, and then feel joy in the meantime of working as well as my personal life. And that connection piece goes to that parenting piece, feeling more connected to my children and not so much just a disciplinarian, feeling more connected to my hubby, feeling more connected to myself. So those three feelings or emotions, momentum, joy, and connection, are definitely what I want to feel this month. So what do you want to feel this month? How do you want to feel? And then think about ways of how you can lean into that in the month of May. So with that in mind, I went ahead and set my monthly goals now that I have my intention and how I want to feel this month. So my first monthly goal is under wellness, to increase movement. That goes towards that yearly goal. I don't necessarily have a 12-week year goal for that, but I added it in here when thinking about my yearly goals that I want to keep moving towards. I also have a monthly goal of reaching 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you have not subscribed, this is your chance to help a girl out. Could you please hit that subscribe button? I also put a goal of increasing my revenue, and I'm going to go into the more specific goals for each one of these for the 12-week year format in just a second. And then increasing my positive parenting interaction. So that sounds very millennial to say, my positive parenting interactions, but what that means is I want to have more interactions with my children that are positive and not just moments of discipline or our everyday routine, like really carving out and being intentional about creating those interactions and those moments of just bonding and positivity. So that comes from a type of therapy that I've learned about in my work or in my education as a psychologist called positive parenting therapy, the whole premise of this type of therapy is helping the parent-child have more of those positive moments in their interaction in their relationship than the negative ones, and then in turn improving their relationship. I'm not saying that me and my children need therapy together by any means. What I am, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I like the tenets of that, and I'm going to apply it to my own parenting life. So tell me, what are your monthly goals that are going to move you towards your quarterly goals? And keep in mind, these are going to be your monthly priorities that you're going to set your lead goals for if you're using the 12-week year strategies. So just to be clear, we have our quarterly goals, our monthly goals become our monthly priorities. And then for each one of those monthly priorities, we are going to set our lead goals, which are those specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely goals for each one of those monthly priority goals. And so before we move into those lead goals, I just want to share my priority for this month as just a whole is my product development that I'm working on, which goes into the increasing revenue, and then those positive interactions with my kiddos. Those are my two priorities for this month. Let's move into the actual specific ways I'm going to get there. But first, tell me, what's your priority this month when you think about all your goals? If nothing else get done, what are those priorities that you want to make sure get done? And now let's move into our 12-week lead goals that are going to help me get to these monthly priorities that I have. So under increasing revenue, I have 3 different lead goals that I'm working towards. So I have basically 3 projects that are going to help me increase my revenue and meet that monthly goal of increasing my revenue. So each week within the month of May, so about 4 weeks, I want to be doing one task for each one of those projects. So the first project is listing my planner on Amazon. So I'll be doing one task a week for that project that I outlined in April. The second project is my email series project. And then the third project for this increasing revenue is developing this new product. My second monthly priority was reaching 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have a couple things that I'm going to be continuing to do to help myself reach that goal. I want to be posting weekly here on YouTube. I also want to be going live bi-weekly, so every other Friday, join me so we can do our accountability meeting and keep each other accountable on our goals, which I really love. And then I want to organize my B-roll this month, my editor. So I have them organized my own drive. I started kind of a B-roll library, and I'm going to be doing one task a week on that. I like to do it that way. That way I can be making progress in each thing I want to be doing. And then I have my last group of monthly priorities I combine together for wellness and parenting. So I have Pilates once per week, deciding on one like fun activity I can do with my kids on the weekend that's like different and novel to kind of balance out the routine of the weekend of them. We kind of just do the same thing. So we'll start going hiking and stuff more when it gets warmer, but just like, I don't know, maybe we're gonna make a cake this weekend, or maybe I'm gonna do some sensory activity. Like I used to do that a lot when they were little, and then they got in the groove of just playing with each other and us playing with their toys. But I liked having like an activity, just one, not a lot, that I could pull out on the weekend for us to you together as mommy and kiddos or mommy and daddy and kiddos and such. And then just being consistent with my rules with my kids. I know that's important for them and for me, so not like being lenient sometimes, and then making sure they do it other times, like, you know, eating a certain way, like, or putting their plate away, or not getting out of their bed after bedtime. Sometimes I'm like, okay, you can have 5 minutes, and that just confuses them. Like, I just need to stick to things. That way I'm not constantly feeling like I have to discipline them. Take a moment to think about what are going to be your lead goals for this month so you can track them each week and make sure that you're moving towards your 12-week year goals. So that's it for our monthly reset. I usually discuss my favorites at the end of this video and talk about some of my favorites from the previous month, but it was making these videos a little bit too long, so I have separated that into a separate video. So make sure you're subscribed because I will be sharing my April favorites in a video coming out soon. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want a complete breakdown of actually how to use the 12-week year, be sure to click on this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and cheers to planning, manifesting, enjoying your dream life. Namaste.
Suddenly, the world I used to know, I see it differently. You woke me from a dream, now here's reality. Baby, baby.